All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're talking about a technology that's trying to solve one of the biggest, most expensive problems in global commerce. And it's not about faster ships or better logistics, it's about something way more fundamental. Trust.
So let me just ask you this simple question. When you buy something, could be anything, from coffee beans to industrial parts, how do you really know you're getting what the label says you're getting? How can you be sure about the quality, where it came from, or that it was sourced ethically?
And this right here, this lays out the problem perfectly. On one side, you've got the producer who claims their product is top-notch, but on the other side, you've got a buyer who, frankly, has every reason to be skeptical and no easy way to check. That gap between the claim and the reality, that's what creates friction, cost, and a whole lot of risk in the global supply chain.
And make no mistake, this isn't some small, niche issue. We're talking about a full-blown global crisis of trust. Buyers just don't trust what producers say about their own products. But at the same time, most producers can't afford those super expensive third-party auditors to come in and verify everything. This problem touches almost everything we use, from the hemp in textiles to the minerals inside our phones.
So, you might be asking, why is this so hard to fix? Well, it's because you have two powerful forces pulling in opposite directions. The market is screaming for transparency. Buyers want proof. But at the same time, you have regulators, the SEC or GDPR over in Europe, who are demanding strict privacy for any financial or personal data. You obviously can't just publish a farmer's income for the whole world to see. So how on earth do you get both transparency and privacy?
Okay, this is where it gets really clever. Instead of trying to pick a side, Decentralized is proposing a whole new way to build trust, and they frame it with this fantastic analogy. Think of it as the bank versus the library.
And here's the big idea at the heart of it all: a split ledger. It's a hybrid system. So instead of trying to force all the data, the private stuff and the public stuff, onto one single network, it splits them. It sends the sensitive, personal info down one path and the verifiable proof about the physical product down a totally different one.
And this breaks it down beautifully. The bank, well, that's the private ledger. It handles all the stuff regulators care about. The money, the identities, all the compliance paperwork, it's totally private, just like your real bank account. Then you have the library. This is the public ledger, built on a decentralized network called Freenet. Its one and only job is to be a permanent, unchangeable public record of the physical truth, the quality, the origin, the story of the actual product.
Now, I know that all might sound a little abstract, so let's make it concrete. We're going to follow a single bale of industrial hemp as it moves through a processing facility in Uganda, and we'll see exactly how this whole system works in the real world.
Okay, so the biggest hurdle is, how do you link that physical bale of hemp to a digital record without any chance of fraud or human error? The solution is brilliant. It's called a hardware oracle. The processing machine itself has a special security chip inside, a TPM, that has a cryptographic key literally burned into it. It can't be changed. This key allows the machine to digitally sign data, basically becoming an unforgeable witness that can swear, "I saw this at this exact moment."
So here's the journey, step by step. 1, the hemp goes into the machine and gets scanned. 2, an AI model analyzes it and gives it a grade. 3, and this is the magic part, the data gets split. All the private financial stuff shoots over to the secure bank ledger. Meanwhile, the public quality data gets packaged up for the library. 4, that public data gets signed by the machine's hardware oracle and published. And finally, step 5, any buyer anywhere on the planet can now instantly verify that certificate is authentic.
Now, what's really fascinating here is what you don't see. This is the actual data that goes public. You see the batch ID, the timestamp, the quality grade, and that crucial hardware signature. But look closer. What's missing? The farmer's name, their wallet address, the price they got paid, nothing. The system gives you complete transparency about the product while guaranteeing total privacy for the person.
The technology is seriously impressive, right? But is it a real business? Can you actually make money selling trust? Let's take a look at how DeReticular plans to turn this whole concept into revenue.
Their business model is pretty smart because it's diversified. First, a processing facility pays a one-time fee to get the hardware installed. Then, they pay a monthly subscription for the software, and on top of all that, for every single batch they certify, the system generates a tiny little attestation fee. It's a model that's built from the ground up to scale. Now let's be realistic. Building something like this is not cheap. In the first year, the company is planning to lose almost $300,000. This is the burn phase, the heavy investment in research, development, and fieldwork needed to get those first few pilot sites up and running.
But all that early investment is designed to pay off, because in year 2, the whole model is designed to hit an inflection point. As more and more of these processing nodes join the network, those recurring software and data fees really start to stack up, flipping the company from a loss into a projected $500,000 profit. That's the turn.
And this slide right here shows the real power of a software-based business. By year 3, the profit margins are projected to hit a staggering 75%. And the reason is simple. Once the software is built, the cost to add one more customer, one more processing node is practically zero. This is exactly how you scale trust into a high-margin data service.
So, the model looks good on paper, but what's next? Where does this project go from here? And, maybe more importantly, what could stop it? Any credible plan has to be honest about both the roadmap and the risks.
The roadmap is laid out in clear phases. 2026 is all about validation, just proving that the hardware Oracle idea actually works in the messy real world. 2027 is when they go commercial, launching a user-friendly app for buyers and aiming to get 50 nodes on the network. Then, by 2028, the goal is to build a whole ecosystem, opening up their API so other people can build on it and scaling to over 250 nodes around the world.
That's a great ambition to have, but every project that's big faces some serious real-world hurdles. It is absolutely critical to ask the tough questions and figure out what could go wrong.
And they've identified 3 big ones. First, the Freenet technology they're building on is still pretty new, so they're going to run a backup on a traditional cloud service just as a safety net. Smart. Second, regulators might get confused by the model, so they're carefully structuring their fees as a software license, not a transaction fee. And third, to make sure they don't scare off regular users, they're building a simple, familiar website, a Web 2 portal, so anyone can verify a product without having to understand all the complex stuff happening underneath.
So in the end, the vision here isn't about choosing between privacy and transparency or regulation and freedom. It's about engineering a system that can deliver both. It all comes down to this quote: "We create a system where the value is regulated, but the truth is free." Just think about that for a second. The data about our world, the actual truth, becomes a public good that anyone can access, while the financial transactions stay private and secure. It's a massive idea. The only question left is, can they pull it off?